Local government was much smaller, was much closer to them, so they were able to control the school system, they were able to control zoning and other land use in their own communities, and that was perceived as a tremendous asset.
The exercise of local control by Chicago's suburbs surfaced most dramatically in the village of Deerfield in 1959.
It was affordable, though we didn't use that term, for people like myself who were earning a low income. There was no Schaumburgs or anything like that. The furthest out that people went was Deerfield, Illinois, on the north side. That was as far as I remember anybody moving. People used to say, where the hell is Deerfield?
Deerfield would soon be nationally known. An East Coast developer began building a subdivision of 51 single-family homes. He had 2 model homes under construction when he announced that he would market 10 of the homes to black families.
Their idea was to show that you could sell housing on an integrated basis, and the world wouldn't come to an end in terms of property values.
News of the announcement spread quickly. Hundreds of Deerfield residents gathered to protest. In response, the Deerfield Village Board withdrew the developer's building permit and announced that it would propose a public referendum to create new parks. One of the park sites would be on the same land as the proposed development.
Condemning the land for parks was a useful cover for what was really catering to the opposition of the majority of the residents and the fears of the loss of property values.
Now, if you stop to consider, there are probably about 4,000 homes affected. Some, I think, in the immediate area will lose the entire equity in that home.
The majority of people were looking for an out, looking for a way to stop the development without identifying those methods as being opposition to the presence of Negroes in the community, even though that was clearly the reason.
And I will tell you now, I am against it, but I am not against integration. I feel that these developers have come in such an underhanded way to force this issue on us, and at this time, I think that it should be abandoned. If they want to open up some other place and have their own schools and their own stores like they have done in the South, and it has worked just beautifully to the advantage of the colored and to the white.
Within weeks, Deerfield's electorate would go to the polls. A group of residents who supported integrated housing formed the Deerfield Citizens for Human Rights. They spoke at local churches, handed out leaflets, and even held a parade through the center of town.
The anti-side said nothing after these 2 or 3 meetings at which some hotheads spoke up and whatnot. They kept their mouth shut. There was no more leaflets, there were no ads in the paper by the people who wanted parks. They, if you want to be crude about it, they knew the fix was in, and let's wait till it happens.
4 days before Christmas, 95% of the town's registered voters turned out to vote on a ballot that contained just one question. At the end of the day, the citizens of Deerfield passed the parks referendum by a 2-to-1 majority. There would be no housing for blacks in their community.